government man comes around, put these dirty old boots on the ground, laughs at your protest with a gun and a bulletproof vest. He don't care what you have to say, you're just gonna do it anyway. He'll smile and grin and then take your farm away. He'll tear it all to hell right in your face. Now the devil ain't got nothing on the TVA.
I love it. Who says you can't take on the government? What you just heard was a song by country music star, the legend, John Rich, and it is called The Devil and the TVA, and it was inspired by his successful fight to stop the Tennessee Valley Authority's overreach for a power project in his home county. And who better than to talk about it than the man himself, John Rich. John, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for standing for small government.
Hey, it's good to be with you guys. What a story. This is like a modern day David and Goliath for real. For real.
Absolutely.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, and we were just talking before we came to air. I saw you posting this story months ago. So, I mean, gosh, I would say this happened pretty quickly that you were able to come to result. Maybe we need to send country music legends to Washington to solve all the problems. But tell us about what happened.
Let's do that.
Well, thanks for putting a spotlight on this. So this is an entity, the TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. Most Americans don't really know what that is. And if they have heard of it, they still don't really know what it is. But TVA was started in 1933 by our favorite socialist president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And it's still in the exact same spot that it was in back in 1933. And the main thing they have going for them, two things actually. One is they only answer to the president of the United States, not senators, not congressmen, not even governors, and definitely not mayors, and definitely not citizens, only the president. And they're considered a federal entity, but they're also private. So they're this hybrid animal that was built back in the Great Depression era. And so what that does is it gives them basically unilateral authority, short of the president himself stopping them, to do whatever they want, wherever they want, however they want. Their job is to build power, is to build dams and power, and they've done a lot of that over the years. But when it comes to dealing with the basic American citizen, they have a horrible track record of just running people over, even to the point of not recognizing the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, entering someone's property against their will, things like that. So this started happening in Cheatham County, Tennessee, which is a small county. It's rural. It's lower to middle income. There's not many rich people living in that county, if any. My dad has a little blueberry farm there. My brother has a little micro farm there. And I own some hunting land out there in Cheatham County. And I got to know this story that TVA wanted to drop a 900 megawatt methane gas plant literally in the heart of this county on top of 500 houses, 6,000 acres of farmland, 5 school districts within just a few miles of this site. Right on top of the main water supply. I mean, it's like Aaron Brockovich kind of stuff, something you would see in a movie. And I just couldn't believe they would do something like that. I mean, I knew they were pretty ruthless, but this seemed even bad for them. But then I saw a piece of video, and the video that I saw is what sent me into this mode right here, fists up. And that was a video of an 88-year-old woman who was standing in her front yard on her farm, been in her family for over a century. And the TVA has a task force. I mean, who knew this? This is all brand new to me, too. They come rolling up on the old lady's farm, about 10 cars deep, and out of the cars come out men wearing bulletproof vests, loaded weapons, demanding access to her property because they want to come on her land, do destructive testing, then no doubt condemn her land and give her 10 cents on the dollar and tell her to take a hike. When I saw that video, I could, first of all, as an American, I could not believe things like this were actually taking place in modern day America, stepping all over her Fourth Amendment rights, total disregard for her autonomy or her land that had been in her family. Guys, she looks in the camera that the neighbor was holding up a little iPhone, filming this whole debacle. And she says, "You think you own something? You don't own nothing." And when I saw that, I said, okay, I'm in. Because she's exactly right. You only own your land as long as the TVA says that you own your land.
Yeah, there's the great line in there. If you don't own your property, you don't own nothing. And I think that this eminent domain issue, which, by the way, ramped up under Joe Biden with his green and clean energy scam, became even more. All over the country, there are these fights going on. I think this is a great education lesson for people to realize we have to stand for our property rights. What's been the reaction, both politically and just in the world of downloading great songs? Because it's a great song on top of it.
Well, I can tell you TVA's reaction. They were not happy at all. Matter of fact, they reached out to me through a congressman here in Tennessee. The congressman called me and said, hey, TVA would like to send their senior vice president of government relations to come have a chat with you at your house in Nashville. Would you like to meet with this guy? I said, oh, please send him to my house. Now, this is after I'd been doing interviews with farmers on their front porches with my selfie stick and my iPhone. That's all I had.
Love it.
I start interviewing them and having them tell the story, and I put it up on X at John Rich. It's getting millions and millions of views. Amanda, that's probably what you saw.
Yeah.
Millions of views. So the TVA's like, we got to stop this as soon as we can. So the guy comes to my house. We have a chat for about 30 minutes. And I told him, I said, you got 2 weeks to get out of Cheatham County. And if you don't, I'm going to write a song that compares you guys to the devil himself. And I'm going to have millions of Americans singing along. He kind of grinned at me. I think he thought I was kidding. But they didn't get out of Cheatham County in 2 weeks. It took the President of the United States, Secretary Rollins at the USDA, myself, and every citizen of that county to actually push TVA out. So he didn't listen to what I had to say. So I followed through on my promise. I wrote this song. We just put it out. You can download it, watch the video. They're on X. And there's millions of people going, there you go. The stories, John, the stories that are coming in.
Oh, yeah.
They took my family's property in the 80s. They took my dad's farm just last year. I mean, this has been an ongoing saga since 1933.
And it has.
Yeah.
It has.
My concern, John, is that there are TVAs all over this country, not necessarily called TVA, but a devil by a similar name. And there are not John Riches all over the country. I know that you would handle every one of these and write a song for each one of these types of cases if you could, but you're already spread thin. How do we push back and make sure that this doesn't happen in every other state and locality?
Well, it is happening in a lot of places, but I will say there is a difference between TVA and other power companies.
That's true.
TVA has the presidential authority, meaning they don't have to listen to a zoning board. They don't have to sit in front of anybody. Whereas somebody like Duke Energy, for instance, now they may make an aggressive move as well, but they're kind of pinned in a little bit with local laws and jurisdictions. TVA doesn't abide by any of that. I mean, I had a U.S. senator who's been seated for several terms tell me we have been begging, that's the word that was used, begging the TVA to abandon this Cheatham County project. And they basically just tell U.S. senators, you know what, get out of my face, go kick rocks, jump off a bridge. You've got no jurisdiction with us at all. I mean, there shouldn't be a federal entity that can act like that and treat citizens like that. So I guess the lesson to answer your question is, if something truly egregious is happening in your town or your county, you've got a selfie stick, you've got an iPhone. No, you're not me. You're not a country singer that people know. However, those kinds of videos, if I run across one, I'll blast it. And so will a lot of other people. I think we, the people, can actually do a whole lot more to push back than we think is possible.
The selfie stick, the new pebbles from David Slaying Goliath. Who knew it was going to work that well? Before we let you go, I have a relative who wants to be the draft John Rich president of that club because she thinks you might be the next CEO of Cracker Barrel. I just want you to get your thoughts. I know I have a lot of thoughts on Cracker Barrel. You'd make a great CEO of Cracker Barrel. I'd go back to Cracker Barrel if you were CEO.
I could fix Cracker Barrel in one quarter. I could fix it in one quarter. First thing we do, we start off every day with the Pledge of Allegiance at breakfast. At noon, we play the Star Spangled Banner. Everyone pauses from their fried okra and catfish. And then I'm making all-you-can-eat chicken fried steak with mashed potatoes and collard greens for $17.76 and no tax on tips at Cracker Barrel. Hello, everybody's coming back. And then I would, of course, invite the President of the United States to come by and enjoy an Uncle Herschel's favorite. And I think we could fix it in 90 days.
I think you're right. Those collard greens, you had me at that. I was all in.
Listen, I have a feeling that you would keep those antiques on the wall, but just in case you ever decide to do that and get rid of any of those Daniel Morgan style rifles or muskets and you
right
want to
here.
sell them off, just call me, John,
Yep,
anytime.
she'll take one right now.
I'll take them right away. John, thank you so much for being
hero.
here. Everybody, the new song is called The Devil and the TVA. We teased it at the top of the blog.
Go download it. Go
Go
send a message
download
to
it
TVA.
right now. Support him in this effort. I mean, just covering Americans with pride and freedom, and it's absolutely amazing to see. All right, everybody, after the break, I'm going to speak. I spoke to the president of Heartbeat International, Joel Godzi, about how the pro-life movement can continue the fight against abortion. We'll be right back with that.